They say a woman's heart is a mystery, an ocean of intuition, emotion, and ancient knowing. But what if I told you there are timeless forces, older than memory, that draw her irresistibly toward a man, not with fleeting interest, but with soul-deep attachment? This isn't about tricks or tactics. This is about awakening the silent power that Stoic men once carried like an aura, the kind of presence that doesn't chase yet never escapes notice. Comment this below if it resonates. A true man does not need to speak loudly. His silence speaks louder. And if you're ready to unlock a deeper understanding of yourself and the women who orbit your world, like this video right now, your support fuels the light we're uncovering together. And I promise, what you're about to hear will shift something deep within you. There are men, and then there are those rare few who leave a mark on a woman's soul. Not because they try to impress, but because they've mastered the one thing most ignore: stillness. In that stillness lives strength, and in that strength, mystery. The kind of mystery that stirs something primal in the feminine spirit, something ancient and inexplicable. This isn't a guide to manipulation. It's a revelation. You're about to walk through 7 hidden corridors, 7 qualities that make a woman not only drawn to a man, but magnetically, irrationally, even spiritually attached. These are not modern ideas. They've been whispered across centuries, spoken by Stoics, monks, and mystics who understood the dance of masculine and feminine energy before psychology ever had a name. You'll learn why the man who remains calm in chaos is more attractive than 10 loud warriors. Why emotional mastery, not emotional distance, creates a craving that doesn't fade. Why purpose, mystery, and sovereignty aren't optional. They're irresistible. But be warned, this knowledge is not for the shallow-hearted. It's for the man who seeks not just attraction, but connection. Not just admiration, but a legacy. So if you've ever felt unseen, misunderstood, or lost in today's noise, stay with me. What we're uncovering here isn't just about women. It's about remembering the sacred gravity of your presence. It's about reclaiming the throne you were always meant to sit upon. Not with dominance, but with depth. And once you understand what truly makes a woman feel seen, feel safe, feel stirred in her soul, you won't need to chase anything. You'll become the stillness that everything moves around. Shall we begin? Long before modern psychology tried to decode attraction with data and lab experiments, ancient civilizations already knew. The bond between masculine and feminine energy was more than biology. It was cosmic. It was sacred. In the scrolls of the Stoics, the hymns of the Vedas, and the whispers of Egyptian mystery schools, we find truths about human connection that we've forgotten, or maybe chosen to ignore. Marcus Aurelius never wrote about winning a woman's heart, but he lived a life that drew people, men and women alike, into his orbit with reverence. Why? Because he embodied Logos, the divine order, the still fire of rational power. To a woman tuned into her intuitive nature, such a man is not just attractive, he's unforgettable. The Stoics knew that mastery over the self is the first seduction. Not flashy words, not conquest, presence. Yet somewhere along the path of modern life, this ancient knowledge was buried under ego, under consumerism, under the shallow promises of quick pleasure. Today, men are taught to chase attention, not embody presence. But go back to the ancients, and you'll find a different story. In ancient Greece, the philosopher Zeno taught his disciples not just how to think, but how to be. His silence was a lesson. His restraint, a signal of strength. Women in those times, though rarely written about, responded to this energy deeply. They were attuned to a man's essence, not his entertainment. They were drawn to what could not be seen, but felt. What could not be explained, but experienced. In Egypt, the god Osiris ruled not with thunder, but with balance. He was composed, measured, steeped in wisdom, and his consort, Isis, was not simply his partner. She was drawn to him as the moon to the earth. Their story, preserved in temples and stone, is more than mythology. It is energetic truth. Fast forward to Rome. Seneca, a man of unmatched Stoic clarity, advised that we must master our passions if we wish to lead others, or even be loved by them. And it's here that the secret becomes clear. The more you need someone, the less they are drawn to you. But the more whole you are, the more others seek your light, even if they don't understand why. Women are not obsessed with men who try to impress. They become attached to the rare man who seems untouched by chaos, unshaken by fear, unchained from outcome. This isn't detachment out of coldness. This is presence born from inner fire, a deep calm rooted in something eternal, something the Stoics called ataraxia, serene clarity. And this serenity, this unwavering flame, is what feminine energy naturally responds to. It's not a trick. It's an ancient rhythm, a universal law. Like gravity, it pulls without effort. Why was this wisdom lost? Because we traded introspection for distraction, stillness for stimulation, and in doing so, we forgot that a woman doesn't fall in love with a man's words. She falls into devotion when she senses his soul cannot be moved. This video isn't about turning you into someone else. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to chase validation, before noise replaced truth, before you forgot that the most powerful man in the room is the one who needs nothing, but gives everything through his presence. Are you ready to unlock the first of the 7 timeless traits that awaken wild, soul-deep attachment? Let us now walk through the first threshold, into the core of what draws a woman, not to your appearance, not to your charm, but to the very essence of your being. These are not techniques. These are soul signatures of a man who remembers who he is. The first truth is this: stillness is magnetic. A man who remains grounded when the world trembles is more seductive than 1,000 sweet words. In times of chaos, most chase control. He instead chooses composure. And in that silence, in that sacred restraint, the feminine feels something ancient awaken inside her. It tells her, this man is safe. This man is unshakable. This man knows. This isn't emotional coldness. It's emotional clarity. While others lash out, he listens. While others react, he reflects. To a woman, this stillness is not absence. It's a sanctuary. It's the kind of space where she can unravel, knowing she will not be judged or controlled. Second, purpose creates gravity. A man without a mission is like a boat adrift in fog. But a man with vision, he is fire walking. He does not need attention. His journey already feeds him. When a woman meets a man whose purpose is his compass, she senses it instantly. He may look at her with warmth, even desire, but she knows he will never lose himself in her. And paradoxically, this is what makes her lean in closer. The man who places his mission first awakens a primal truth in her. He is not mine, and that makes him even more captivating. Third, emotional mastery ignites devotion. This does not mean emotional suppression. That is a wound, not wisdom. It means he has walked through fire and learned to carry it with grace. When he is angry, He does not explode. He alchemizes. When he is joyful, it is not performative. It is sacred. When he speaks, it is not to impress. It is to express something real. A woman cannot help but attach herself to this level of truth. It is rare, and the rare, to the feminine soul, is irresistible. Fourth, mystery is not a game. It is a signal, not the mystery of hiding things, but the mystery of depth. A man who does not reveal himself too quickly. A man whose thoughts run deeper than surface waters. His presence makes her wonder. His silence speaks of journeys untold. She senses there is more behind his eyes, something unnameable. And women do not chase answers. They chase the feeling of discovery. The man who reveals himself slowly, like pages in a sacred text, will hold her attention long after louder men have faded from memory. Fifth, sacred presence creates trust. When he is with her, he is with her. Not looking at his phone, not thinking of something else. His eyes rest fully upon her, like moonlight on water, calm, focused, undistracted. In that moment, she feels real. She feels seen. And to feel seen is to feel safe. And to feel safe is to open. And when a woman opens, it is not just her body. It is her soul. That kind of connection can never be forced. It can only be invited through the gravity of presence. Sixth, self-respect is the altar she cannot ignore. A man who honors himself, his time, his energy, his standards, teaches others how to treat him without saying a word. He does not beg for attention. He does not chase love. His boundaries are not walls, they are gates, carefully watched. And when a woman sees that he values himself, she will either rise to meet him or fall away. But she will never forget him, because that level of self-honor, it is unforgettable. Seventh and final for this part, detachment from outcome is a sacred power. He does not need her to choose him. He desires, yes, but he is not desperate. He offers but does not plead. He gives but never overextends. This isn't indifference, it's inner fullness. When a man no longer needs anything from a woman, she can feel it. And that feeling is rare, and what is rare becomes treasured. Each of these truths is not just a tool. They are echoes of ancient masculine energy, alive in the soul of any man who chooses to remember. We've just begun this path. There is more. There are deeper layers, hidden meanings, misunderstood truths, and the paradoxes that make all of this so beautifully human. Now we step deeper, beyond the surface traits, and into the paradoxes that define the sacred masculine. For here lies a truth that stirs the feminine heart more than any words can. The man who knows himself is endlessly fascinating because he is still becoming. Let us begin with this paradox. Strength is not hardness. It is openness without fear. A woman becomes obsessed with a man not because he is invincible, but because he is undeniably human and utterly unafraid of it. He doesn't posture. He doesn't pretend. He holds both his pain and his power with reverence. When he speaks of his wounds, he does so not to seek sympathy, but to reveal his alchemy, to show that he has transmuted suffering into wisdom. This kind of man doesn't hide his heart, he guards it, and in doing so, he creates a space where her heart, too, can be real. Now hear this contradiction. The more a man gives a woman freedom, the more she binds herself to him, not through control, not through demand, but through allowance. When she feels unjudged, unpressed, unowned, she lets down her guard, and in that vulnerability, attachment grows. You see, the feminine spirit is like the wind. It resists capture, but moves toward warmth. And the man who says, "You are free to go," is often the one she never wishes to leave. Next, the masculine does not chase chaos. it anchors it. Many men confuse passion with turbulence, thinking that drama is proof of love. But a man who lives in alignment does not need noise to feel alive. He doesn't spark arguments to feel passion. He brings order to emotional storms, not by fixing, but by holding, just holding, her tears, her laughter, her silence. And in that holding, she finds a center she didn't know she was seeking. It's not the chaos she attaches to, it's the container, the calm, the unshakable presence that says, I won't run. Let us enter now a quieter truth. Silence, when used wisely, speaks louder than 1,000 reassurances. The modern world is loud. Promises are thrown around like currency. But when a man chooses his words carefully, when he listens more than he speaks, when he answers her emotions with attention instead of explanations, she leans in, because his silence is not emptiness, it is depth. It invites her to explore, to wonder, to feel safe in a space that doesn't rush to fill every pause. To the feminine, that silence becomes sacred. Then there is this often misunderstood energy. Non-reactivity is not disinterest, it is self-mastery. When a woman tests a man emotionally, and she will, it is not to break him, it is to feel him, to see if his emotions own him, or if he owns them. The Stoics taught us this long ago. The man who is unbothered is not cold, but composed. And this composure is not a performance. It is a signal that says, I have walked through fire, and I am still here. That kind of man doesn't need to defend his worth. His very being makes the case. Another layer, the man who honors the feminine in all its forms becomes irresistible to her. He does not reduce women to roles or labels or expectations. He sees the goddess in her chaos. He respects the wisdom in her emotion. And when he meets her with reverence, not worship, but recognition, something ancient awakens in her. It is not attachment born from fantasy. It is loyalty born from being seen in her entirety. That kind of recognition binds more deeply than any promise ever could. And finally, this sacred contradiction, the man who walks away from what doesn't serve his soul, is the man she will never forget, even if it breaks his heart, even if he loves her. He does not beg to be chosen. He chooses himself again and again, not from ego, but from alignment. And in that final act of self-honor, he becomes burned into her memory, not as a lost lover, but as the one who truly knew his worth. And that is the man she will compare all others to. These are not tricks. They are sacred truths. They echo through time because they are written into the bones of masculine and feminine energy. They are not found in dating advice. They are remembered in the soul. Now that you've glimpsed the depth behind these traits, how do you bring them into your own life? How do you transform insight into embodiment? Now we cross from knowledge to embodiment, where philosophy meets breath, where understanding becomes presence. You've glimpsed the ancient patterns that stir deep attachment in the feminine heart, but none of it matters if it stays in your mind. These truths must be lived, and to live them, you must move differently, speak differently, be different. Let us begin with your most sacred tool, awareness. From this day forward, carry this simple but potent question with you. What energy am I holding right now? Not just in what you say, but in how you stand, how you breathe, how you look at the world. Before you speak to a woman, before you enter a room, pause. Anchor yourself. Let your presence lead. When you do this, your energy becomes unmistakable, and she feels it, not logically, but viscerally. Your stillness announces itself before your words ever arrive. Next, a daily practice from the Stoics, negative visualization. Every morning, imagine what it would be like to lose the things you're attached to. Status, affection, even her. Not to become numb, but to become free. This exercise clears away the fog of need. It purifies your intentions. It reminds you that you do not own love, you offer yourself to it. And when you can walk into connection from wholeness, not hunger, you become a man few can walk away from. Now train your body to match your inner mastery. Develop routines that build discipline. Cold showers, breath work, resistance training. These aren't about appearances. They're about becoming familiar with discomfort, so you are never ruled by it. When the body becomes strong, the mind follows. And a man who commands both becomes magnetic, not by force, but by frequency. Then cultivate sacred silence. Each day, take 15 minutes to sit in stillness. No phone, no music, just you and your breath. In this space, the noise of the world will rise and pass, and what remains is you, raw, aware, untouched by chaos. This is the state the feminine craves, not because it entertains, but because it soothes. And the more often you return here, the more unshakable your presence becomes in the eyes of anyone you encounter. Start listening more than speaking. In conversations with women, resist the urge to prove yourself. Don't fill the silence. Let it breathe. Ask deeper questions. Truly listen, not to respond, but to understand. This kind of listening is so rare, it becomes unforgettable. When a woman feels heard, truly heard, she attaches, not to the words, but to the space you've created. A space where she can soften. And now, boundaries. Decide what you will no longer tolerate, not with anger, with grace. What behaviors drain your energy? What habits pull you from your center? What kinds of attention feel good to the ego but hollow to the soul? Cut them, not harshly, cleanly. The man who guards his energy signals to the world, I am not here to be consumed. I am here to be experienced. This alone can transform how others engage with you. Then begin to practice rituals of presence with the feminine. When you're with a woman, put your phone away. Look into her eyes. Don't try to impress. Simply be there. Let your energy speak. Let your stillness hold her emotion like a chalice. Don't solve her chaos. Witness it. Don't chase her love. Invite it. Over time, she won't just feel safe. She will feel home. Finally become loyal to your inner fire. When you feel tempted to overextend, to prove, to perform, pause. Return to yourself. Speak from truth. Act from alignment. The feminine doesn't attach to performance. She attaches to authentic fire. The flame that burns without demand. The flame that says, I am here, not to be chosen, but to choose myself first, always. This path is not about manipulation. It is about magnetism, and magnetism arises when who you are and what you believe become one seamless thread. No noise, no contradiction, just presence. Now you know how to begin living these truths. But how do you sustain them? And what deeper mysteries lie beneath the surface of male and female energy? As we close this journey, let us return to where we began. The wisdom we have uncovered isn't just a set of behaviors to replicate or a checklist to follow. It's a return to something ancient and timeless within you. It is a remembrance of who you were before the world told you who to be. It is the recognition that true attraction, true attachment, is not born from pursuit, but from presence, from becoming the man who is complete within himself, and yet able to share that completeness with the world around him. You are not here to chase. You are here to be found by those who recognize your light. A woman is not obsessed with you because of how you dress or what you say. She is drawn to you because you carry within you something rare, a self that is whole, unshaken, and deeply alive. The 7 truths we've explored are not isolated secrets. They are interconnected energies: stillness, purpose, emotional mastery, mystery, sacred presence, self-respect, and detachment from outcome. Each one feeds into the other. And when you live these with sincerity, you begin to radiate an energy that calls others to you, not out of need, but because they sense you've transcended the chase. But know this: these truths are not learned through thought alone. They are embodied through action. They must be practiced daily, lived through every interaction, felt in every silence. It is a path, not a destination. And the more you walk it, the deeper the bond becomes, first with yourself, then with those around you. So I ask you now, what will you choose? Will you remain in the noise of the world, chasing fleeting validation, or will you step into the silent power of your own presence? The choice is always yours. As you move forward, remember this: the feminine, in all her beauty and complexity, does not fall in love with the man who performs, or pleases, or controls. She attaches to the man who has become, the man who understands that the deepest love is rooted not in possession, but in freedom. Freedom to be fully, unapologetically, and deeply himself. If you have felt something stir within you during this journey, something that calls you to become this man, then take this wisdom with you. Let it guide you, and let the energy you bring into every moment be the invitation for her to recognize the truth of who you are. If you found value in this, leave a comment below and share your thoughts. What part of this message resonated with you most? And don't forget to like this video if you want to uncover more ancient truths and timeless wisdom. This path you walk is not about perfection, but about becoming the best, most authentic version of yourself. And as you do, remember, the world will fall into rhythm with your presence. The woman who truly sees you will never look away. This is the power you hold. Now go forth and claim it.